Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. It's time to look at the global stories that have made it to the front pages of our national dailies this morning. And joining us to review the papers is Jide Johnson, is a public affairs analyst. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Rume, and good morning to our viewers all over the world. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right, so this morning we'll begin with The Punch, and The Punch leads with 6-month suspension. Natasha heads for court as NBA others knock Senate. The writer here says Kogi senator lawyer says suspension is illegal. PDP kicks, Senate insists its rules violated. So of course we've seen the drama that has happened in the Senate in recent times. It started from seat changes whereby Natasha said she was being victimized by the Senate president, and of course she went on national television and spoke about sexual harassment and a lot of things that has transpired between both of them. Now we've seen this case drag for a bit, and where we are as of today is the fact that she has been suspended from the Senate for 6 months, and I know she had some words before she left, which is, you can't put me down. But what's your take on this whole thing, the fact that right now, she's headed for court?
You see, without the guardrails of separation of power and the safety net of rule of law, what you have in democracy would be a quasi-authoritarian, despotic, and dictatorial rule by the minority against the will of the majority. From what happened in the Senate down to Lagos State House of Assembly, you will see that we still have some elements of authoritarian, despotic character in our democratic experience. And I've said it over time that we don't even have a democracy. What we have is a civilian administration, because we've just seen the transformation of people from a military head of state to a supposedly democratically elected representative, but who have more vestiges of military dictatorial tendency inherent in them. Now, the Senate rule does not supersede the Constitution. The Constitution is the grand norm that governs a nation. And the supremacy clause of the Constitution makes the Constitution to be the number one law. Any pronouncement, any law that contradicts or contravenes the Constitution is a nullity. One, the Constitution makes a provision for 109 senators. The Constitution said there shall be a senator representing each of the senatorial districts. There is no provision in the Constitution that says that senatorial district will not be represented for a period of 6 months or 9 months based on the rules that were put in place by the elected representative of the people, who should also provide platform for the elected representative of the people to hear the voice, represent the need. Excuse me, what you are is a charade, and there is something that should not be allowed to look. The matter, one of the matter is in the court, and one of the chairman of the committee said the court cannot stop them. Where then do you have the basis of separation of power? And then one said it is our rule. I even saw a clip where the former Senate president was trying to counsel the present Senate president in not withdrawing the security details of and he came up with one warped logic. The interesting thing is, those that are in position of power today should understand that power is transient. Whether they like it or not, they will lose power one day, and history will place them in places where they rightfully belong. As far as I'm concerned, what you have in the National Assembly is a disgrace, and I can say it's a conspiracy. Thank God we are celebrating women today. It's a conspiracy of the men against the women.
Well, so someone has even said that women going forward, their mental health should be checked before coming into the Senate or being given in any position.
I saw that interview. Such a guy should be the platform. No media organization should ever invite somebody with that crude mentality in 2025 to any program. He is such a disgrace. It's a disgrace to himself, a disgrace to his family, a disgrace to his community, and a disgrace to those that invited him. He should have been cut short. Such person should not be given voices.
Well, he's a former member of the House of Assembly for Cross River State. So
it tells you the quality of people. It tells you the quality of people who will be sent into the House of Assembly, into the Senate, and into the House of Rep. And if you are even looking at, I think the greatest threat to women's sanity and mental health are actually women themselves. If you look at the comments of some women that are occupied the hallowed seat in the hallowed chamber of the Senate, even if you have listened to their comment, and even one of the representatives that even recommended that the woman came up with an issue has not been investigated. Look at the sweeping way they came up with the report in less than 72 hours. They came up with the report with a dispatch. Issues affecting Nigeria do not even receive the attention with the attention with which they give to allegations against. How many allegations do they level against Akpabio, the Senate president? How many allegations are they going to level against him? Let him just understand that the higher you go, the easier it is for you to fall. He thinks he's beyond the banana peel, but he should understand that there have been Senate president before him, and he too will be a Senate. He will be a byword in the future. Today, Lawan is gone, Saraki is gone, Evans Ewerem, Chuba Okadigbo, David Mark. Even David Mark, who even remember that David Mark spent more than 10 years as Senate president. Nobody even recalled that. So he is just spent how many years as Senate president? Just 2 years, and he's had many issues.
Well, this is obviously
his actions, the actions of the present Senate president has brought the National Assembly into disrepute. Whether as the Minister of Niger Delta, or as a senator himself, or as presently as the Senate president. Don't forget, Honorable Minister, off the mic.
That is so funny. Yes, we remember that. But I mean, right now we're celebrating International Women's Day tomorrow. But in things like this, because one of the things that was being said was, this gender is now being over dramatized, being trivialized. What is the hope for a woman? Because if a woman in power can face certain things allegedly, these are things that happen in our day-to-day lives, right? How are you able to fight a system that might not just be in your favor? What does this say? If there's any iota of truth to this now, peradventure, let's
even talk about the substantive nature of the argument, sitting arrangement. How many women are in that male-dominated Senate? Let's talk about the substantive issue. Let's even take away that. How many women are in that Senate? I think there are about three or four there. Now, if you are going to allocate,
I think 4.
Even if you are going to allocate seat or change seat, are you not meant to even give the women prime position because they are underrepresented? So, because I've even listened to the WAP argument they've given concerning the sitting arrangement. Now, you in a chamber of 109 members, you have less than 5 women, and then you are pushing women to the background. Are they not meant to even give women a special seat? Nobody has even raised that argument. Let's even go to the substantive issue which they are fighting over, and which women should have spoken about. And you see senators like Ireti Kinjibe saying what she's saying. You see a former senator and a former special advisor to the president, to the Senate, Senator Florence Itagiwa, saying what she said. You saw the first lady, who was a 3-time senator from Lagos. You had what she put in her statement, and then you have senator representing my senatorial district. We don't even know whether she's present or she's not present, not saying anything at all concerning this issue. Why can't they give women special seats in the Senate? Because they are underrepresented. That's even the substantive issue they are raising.
I know, I agree with you, because I mean, in today's world, you see ladies first, you see chivalry, you see people trying to be gentlemen. So it's something that can actually be looked upon. And, I wonder why we're still dragging about seats in 2025. Meanwhile, we're supposed to be looking at the things that concerns Nigerians. But this is where we are now. Allegations of sexual harassment. It's just sad and it's quite unfortunate, but we'll definitely keep our eyes peeled.
Did they elect any woman as part of their principal officers?
Well, good question. Right now in 2025, the theme for International Women's Day is Accelerate Action. So these are certain things that we definitely need to be speaking about to ensure that there are more women represented in offices like this. But let's move over to another story. So on the Punch, there's a story about fuel, and it says marketers worry as 5-month fuel imports hit about 6 trillion naira. But I want to tie that to the leading story on the Daily Trust that says transport fares remain high despite petrol price drop. So we've seen a price drop because obviously Dangote was able to reduce his prices, and there's some fuel stations that he's partnered with, for instance MRS, who have also reduced their prices as well. But regardless of what the pump price is saying, we've seen that transportation fares are still very high. What about that? How does that work in today's world? Because I would have thought that, with inflation, there are certain indices. And if, for instance, we're buying fuel cheaper, then transportation should be reduced. But why is it that in Nigeria, some things are just different?
Because there's no control, there is no regulation. There is no safety net for consumer protection. There's no guardrail against consumers exploitation. And so everybody just operate the way they want to. Like you pointed out, at least there should be some drop in. In most cases, those that are taking decision for us, either in the bureaucracy or in public service, elected representative or appointed officials, are far away from reality. One, we provide them with a lot of perks of office that take them away from reality. One, you provide them with official cars, you provide them with official fuel, so they don't commute with buses, they don't pay for fuel, they don't pay for housing themselves from their salary. All of these things have been factoring into the perks that they enjoy from the office. So they are far away from reality. They don't even know what you are going through. Does Akpabio know how much pump price of petroleum product costs? Can he give you the amount? Does the Speaker of the House of Rep or the Speaker of Lagos State House Assembly or a commissioner or a permanent secretary or a director in one of the major parastatals across the length and breadth of this country, when was the last time they commute through public transport? When was the last time they entered train? When was the last time they entered buses? When was the last time they took Uber? So all of these people are far away from reality. They live in the cocoon of the comfort created by the perks, unnecessary perks, wastages, and fraud associated with their offices. So they are far away from reality, like you and I, that have cost to one service our car, to that have cost to buy that fuel, that have cost sometimes to commute through public transport.
But if they're there to make sure that, they represent the people, they look at the concerns of the people, shouldn't they be ensuring that there are enough regulations for things like this, whereby everybody's crying about inflation, everybody's crying about how expensive things are, especially the cost of transportation. Of course, we know that it's due to, the pump price of fuel. But if we're seeing that the price has reduced, why are these people not ensuring that there's enough regulations to guard things like this, whereby the people can enjoy the dividends of the price drop?
You see, the basis of the Christian faith was the commonization and humanization of divinity in humanity, for divinity to experience humanity. That's why Jesus was given birth in human form, and he was born in the most unusual place, in the manger, and the rest of it. These people you can't change what you don't experience. That's the reality. These people are far away. Some of them have been in government since 1999 till date. You saw the way Akpabio described Senator Ahmed Lawan. He called him the landlord of the National Assembly. Lawan has been in the National Assembly since 1999 till date. This is the 5th time the Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly is being in the House. They are far away from reality. That's the truth. Are they actually the representative of the people? No. Were they elected by the people? No. They were imposed by, look at the way monetization has characterized our politics. Look at the amount of money they sell their forms, and look at the way what characterized their selection process in picking their representative. My dear, it's very simple. They don't think about you and I because they are not experiencing what we are experiencing. They live in the cocoon and the comfort of the perks of the office.
Well, that's I don't even know what to say, because you were right. I mean, they don't feel what we feel, so it's easy for them to be high up there and be like, oh yeah, they'll be all right, they'll sort out themselves. And it's just sad that we're seeing these people weaponize poverty over and over again, because it seems like they do it on purpose, just because they want to gain certain benefits when it comes to time for elections and all of that. But let's just drop it. Let's move over to another story that says Nigeria lost 94 trillion naira to business closures, multinational divestments, and that is according to the Nigerian Economic Summit Group. So NESG has said that Nigeria lost 94 trillion. I mean, what is our budget for the year? Just about 54.9 trillion naira. But yet we're seeing that we lost about 94 trillion to business closures. And of course, if we're going to look at the reasons why, the epileptic power supply, the cost of doing business, not a very great business environment in Nigeria, the push and pull factor, so pushing people away and other countries are pulling them in. But what's your take on the fact that we have so much potential, especially with our manufacturing industries, making sure that we're creating jobs for people, but yet the status here now is that Nigeria has lost about 94 trillion to business closures? Your thoughts, please.
You will see that the first attempt that the Trump administration made in America is to incentivize whoever wants to make investment in America to come to America and enjoy some measure of tax relief. One. Two, to also create a new platform which is called the Gold Card, that says if you bring in 100 million, you get a gold card, and then it's your quickest pathway to citizenship. Those are serious government that are busy, despite the fact that how strong the economy of America is. You could see that the government is coming up with different policies to bring in foreign direct investment. The reverse is the case in our own. We over-regulate, we come up with new regulations, new tariff, we come up with policies that stifle business investment. Even the local investors, we make it so hard for them to invest, and the foreign investors that are coming into the country to create an environment that is not encouraging, and which you said created what is called the, while you are trying to stifle them, other countries are relaxing their regulation, they are deregulating and inviting them. As you are pushing them out of their country, your country, they are pulling them in. And what we celebrate, and I'm going to blame you and I, when I talk about you and I, I'm going to blame our industry, the fourth estate of them. We celebrate mediocrity, and you know how we celebrate mediocrity? We have reduced governance to basic infrastructure, because somebody constructed roads, constructed bridges, and constructed railway line, and we associate that with good governance, with performance in public service, and we say this person has done well. And building infrastructure is the ABC of public governance. Is the 1, 2, 3 of the public governance. The XYZ of public governance is simple. Create an environment where your manufacturing sector is working. Create an environment whereby the private sector is the driver of your economy. The largest chunk of your gross domestic product does not come from the government. It comes from the private sector, through private investment, through direct investment in the private sector, local investor and foreign investor. We don't celebrate that. I've asked people, when presidents make their speech, it could be 2 years, May 29 that President Tinubu was running. When they make their speech, you'll be talking about roads and the rest of it that they construct. Because how many jobs have you created? How many industries have come to Nigeria? How many companies have announced that they are investing money in Nigeria? In less than 6 weeks that Donald Trump became president of America, you have evidences with respect to different types of investment on weekly basis. People talk about what they are going to invest in that economy, but in our own, you know what, they'll come up with blueprint of how they are going to construct one road that will lead to one place or the other, and people will be rolling out drums and beating drums, and people will be celebrating them, and they'll be going to media spaces and will be giving them platform to talk about what any idiot or simpleton could do. What do you need to construct bridges? You need the design, and then you need the money. Anybody, any idiot with a stroke of pen can make an approval for such. It's very simple. Any idiot. Once you design the bridge and you allocate fund to it, it can be built. They don't do it. There's no real strategic thought pattern that goes into that to construct roads. Even the roads that they construct don't even last. People that don't even have the idea on how to solve the housing problem, on how to solve the inflation problem, that don't have an idea on how to solve the cost of living problem, that don't have an idea on how to provide.
Jide, we can go on and on this. It's just a sad reality that we face here in Nigeria. We don't have enough time, but I want to take this final story on the Business NG that says reps move to take political party registration from INEC. So this bill obviously scaled through second reading. It was being sponsored by Tajuddin Abbas, who is the Speaker of the House of Representatives and one of the members from Edo, right? And this bill obviously says that INEC should focus solely on conducting elections. They are already stretched with that, and they don't have to, be making sure that political parties are being registered or, just putting all of that in their jurisdiction. What do you think about this? I mean, you are vast in that field, so what do you think about the fact that INEC is going to be stripped of its responsibilities when it comes to registering political parties?
So who should be charged with responsibility?
Well, they say they want to move it to a new agency.
Which agency should be charged with it? Is it the National Assembly? I will see that this bill is sponsored by the Speaker of the House of Rep. You should know where the source of this bill is coming from. He cannot do it without the knowledge of his party. Is it an attempt by the existing party to stifle other parties from existing? Well, I am of the opinion that we should provide there should be a provision in the Constitution that says that parties can apply to contest the election, but their registration should be tied to the number of votes they garner. I agree with that. If that's the path they are going, that if you don't have a single seat, you see wherever you have a seat, that's where you should operate. If you have a seat at the local level, you are a local party. If you don't have so number of House of Rep or so number of senator, you can't operate at the national level. And I think we should do that, because actually we have too many parties. However, if you want to take away the registration of party from INEC, we must make a provisions that the registration of the party should be tied to electoral votes that they collected. You can apply to contest for the election, and after the election, you'll be registered for a certain period. Those are criteria that are provided. I think in United States of America, people used to think that there are just two parties or what have you. If you're able to get a certain signature, a certain amount of signature, you'll be registered, you'll be allowed to contest the election across the length and breadth of the country.
All right, fantastic. I mean, that's a good idea. So if we can implement that, why not? Jide, I want to say thank you so much for coming. It's always a pleasure having you. Thank you for your time.
It's always good to start the weekend with you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful weekend.
And you too.
We've been speaking with Jide Johnson. He's a public affairs analyst, and we've just been taking the global stories that made it to the front pages of our national dailies. We'll go on a short break now. When we return, we'll be discussing militants threat the oil installation over River State crisis. So please stay with us.